everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a nice day. I want to thank my old subscribers, my new subscribers and my recent subscribers to subscribing to my channel. I can't thank you enough. I'm forever grateful. But if you come across any of my content, I mean any, it's a mixed bag of bags here. I appeal to a wider range of audience. We've got shorts, we've got like honest conversation series. And if my channel is something for you, there's a wee green subscribe button below. If you press that, you get all my uploads whenever, I upload or whatever, and my content coming to you. And I upload every 2 weeks. And also I have this brilliant community tab where I interact with you all, give you BTS, tell you what's going on, give you photos, tells you what's coming up in shorts and all that lot. And if that is something for you, press that wee green subscribe button below, and I hope to see you at my channel and my community tab. So I'm just going to get into this. I'm not going to faff about, and today I want to talk about breaking the silence and my experience with a toxic mother. And yeah, I'm just going to get into it, so let's go.
A few moments later.
So basically, if you've been on my channel long enough and you have been watching me and you've been watching not just my own conversations but my talks that I do here on one's life experience, then you would know why the title is the title of what I'm going to talk about today. I just want to say I'm not here to slate my mother, but it is the truth. It's unfiltered as per. This is me, this is my story. I hate to be that person, but it is what it is, and I'm going to talk about it. And I'll probably have family members coming for me, but I don't give an F. And this is it, and I'm just going to start. So if you've been with me long enough and know that when I talked about what happened to me in a previous vlog, basically my mum abandoned us, not just me but me and my brothers. She basically planned it, walked out, and and she signed us all over to my dad, and basically just said she didn't want us anymore. That is the real end of it. So for the trauma that gave me, I had trust issues, I had abandonment issues, and this went on very much into my life now. It was like, as much as I had female figures in my life, like my nan and my aunt and whatever, grand, like I said, when my mum effed off out the door and abandoned us all, and like I said, she said to my face she was going downtown for a few hours. She didn't. She ended up here where I am today, which is Northampton. My dad would arrange for us to meet her either here or at London Euston, and yeah, she would not meet us, she would stand us up, or if we did come to Northampton, she would palm herself on everybody, or we'd be in the pub, and that's how it went really. And it got to that point where the only time she was interested in us was when her friends were about, and we were like trophies, like in the trophy cabinet, and like, oh, these are my kids, and just because she had family photos, it was like that was her glory of making us like trophies. And do you know what I mean? And as much as I came here to try and repair a relationship with her, when I moved here, we didn't get on. This is at the time when I used to drink. We would have arguments, and then it would be things like, oh well, I'm just trying to protect you because obviously me being gay. I kind of bluntly said out loud, like, you lost that years ago, being my mother, and that protection and all of that lot. So yeah, I kind of said it out loud, and she's like, oh, I just want to protect you. It's like you lost all that mothering, maternal instincts and protection of me when you effing walked out the door. So, you know, you don't have that privilege, you don't have that say-so in my life. And that's how it went for a while, when me and her were going out drinking or with a boyfriend or whatever, and it would be that vicious cycle. And then, you know, we're moving on after 2011, after I moved in, then it gets a bit better, but then, you know, it's just like, my mum would be this thing like, oh, throw it back in your face kind of thing, and I had that from ex, so that was kind of traumatising in itself. It would be like, well, why do you think you could do me a favour and it's like you're my mother, you're not, well, why is favours happening? It's like, if you do something, you do it out of love. And this is the rhetoric I got all the time. This is another vicious cycle, and it just kept going on. It's like, you know, even if I was on my last tenner, she wouldn't give me money because there'd always be something hidden behind it. And that's the way it is, and that's the way it still is. And, you know, it's probably why I'm a bit mentally fucked up and traumatised in some way, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. You know, I'm not saying my dad's not perfect, I'm not saying me and my dad had never got on, but, you know, we're talking about my mum today, and how her, you know, the way she's been with me, not just me but my brothers, and how it's just like mentally traumatised me and messed with my brain somewhat. And, you know, it's like, I can't explain it, I don't know how I can explain it, because I've never really talked about it, like, you know, to the world in this deep dive, because it's like your brain still tries to adjust, and your brain still is like, what the hell? And if you know, and you've been watching, like my mum recently, or say recently, last year was diagnosed with cancer, and I was happy to help her and whatever, walk out, feed the dog, and then because I had my own issues, my own mental health, being an ADHD, I asked her for 2 weeks respite, and the next thing I know, I'm the guilty party, I'm getting blamed, I'm getting, you know, telling that like I'm selfish and I don't care, and, you know, all that bollocks which I told you before in the previous vlog. And it's like, you know, there was no emotion in her text when this happened, there was nothing, it was stone cold, and this is what I had to deal with throughout my childhood, throughout my livelihood to now, and I can't be dealing with it. I can't deal with toxic people, I can't deal with negative people, I can't deal with people being cold with me, and I don't care if you're not emotionally astute to deal with shit, but I personally really thought my mum would change having cancer, but obviously not, because I called her Rolo, and if I sound like a CUNT, I don't care, because she is one. It's just self-centred, and it's a me, and it's always been that way. And not to say cancer or not, you don't treat anyone like that, and if you're physically in my shoes, and I was able to document it, I was with her for 3 months, I went to her appointments, I walked that dog, I did everything in my bloody power, you know, and I just wanted 2 weeks respite, and it got turned on its head, and then I get left with this stone cold, like, non-emotional robot of my mother. And then I decided, you know, she's like, oh, give me my key back, no explanation, and she hasn't talked to me since January, and I have washed my hands of her. I physically, emotionally cannot be dealing with that abuse. The emotional abuse, the manipulation, because that's how she is, and that's all the way she is. She's always been that way. She's never going to change, cancer or not. And obviously cancer changes people, but my mum is still Medusa and stone cold and couldn't give a shite. And that is it. And I'm thankful that I have a positive parent in my life called my daddy-o. But this is the real life, and I don't care if my family members are gonna watch this. I really don't care. Do you know what I mean? I really do not give two hoots, and if they see this and they want to come and it's like, no. It's like, it's emotional manipulation. It's like emotional abuse mentally, and it's like, I'm not standing for that anymore. And that's why I decided, you have to walk away from the thing. He says even though she lives downstairs, I decided to walk away from it all after that, because she's never going to change. She's always going to be the same person. It was like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I could mention so many things. It's like when my dad brought us up, and obviously he was a single father with 3 kids. He didn't have the money, not because he didn't have it. He was too busy getting us school uniforms, feeding us, keeping a roof over our head, all that jazz. And when we'd come up here to Northampton when we were younger, we wouldn't have the right clothes, and my mum would be like, oh, your clothes need to be decent, and you need to wear something sensible and decent. It's like, my mum wasn't paying child support or giving anything to my dad, and my dad was struggling. And it's like, we did have clothes, but they weren't, in her mind's eye, decent. But no, we were still fed clothes, and she wouldn't even pull out money out of her pocket just to support her own children, and that tells you everything you need to know. I'm sorry, but I don't care if you've got no maternal instincts, right? Your first priority is your children, even though you fucked off, right? You have to go, okay then, like, what the hell? It's like, you do that for your children, didn't you? So, and she wouldn't even do that. And that's why I'm breaking the silence with this, because I've literally had an effing enough. I've had too long into my child years and my adult years to be dealing with this bullshit anymore, and I'm sorry for swearing, but it just angers me and it frustrates me. And like I say, it's not documented, it's not, there is no kind of like, oh, thing is, is there good memories? Yes, there is. But there's more bad memories and there's more toxic in my life of her than there is good memories. There is, and that is the God honest truth. I couldn't put it any plainer. And since she's had cancer and everything, and she's not changed her ways, that tells me everything I need to know. And you may say, oh, Carrie, that's a bit bloody harsh, but no, listen, look, you weren't there. You only have, as they say in court, a hearsay of the he said, she said. And I hate backbiting, and I hate toxicity, as you well know. And I hate, just toxic people. I can't be around toxic people. I can't be around negative people. I can't be around people that are stone cold. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I prefer it, right, if my mother didn't set up her little cunning plan when we were younger, and I prefer if she just said, okay, I don't love your dad anymore, I want a divorce, and that was it. But she didn't do that, because she decided, nah, fuck it, I'm just going to sign all these kids up to your dad, and they're not going to be my responsibility. I can't be bothered anymore, and I'm going to set this plan, and I'm just going to abandon my kids. And you know, she could have been adult about it, and she could have been a proper mother about it. And I read people go, oh, you didn't know what she's going through. I'm not saying my dad's a bad boy, and I'm saying I'm not, you know, but I can't tell you because I didn't exist before that time when my parents got together, so I couldn't tell you. But it's still like the moral of it, you know, the moral empathy of going, actually, I can't cope with my kid. I would have forgave her if she did that and said, no, I can't cope, and, you know, I have no paternity, but she didn't do that. She decided to take the slight way up. She signed over, I found out from my dad, that she signed this over 2 months before this was all happening. She signed it, and she basically said to the judge when she went to this court, and said, I don't want my kids, I don't want them, give them to the father, I want no parental responsibility and all that long, you know. And that tells me everything I need to know. And she couldn't even bother to repair the relationship with her kids. She still doesn't know. As I say, we're trophy stacks to her. You know, like when you win a gold medal at the Olympics or something. That's all we are. And, you know, we shows off to her, because whenever they see photos of us or whatever, it's like, that is it. It's like, yeah, this is my kids, and then that is it. And we never talked about going unless it's necessary for her, because that's the way she is. And I'm glad she cut ties with me, because something needed to happen, and it gave me that realisation. It's like, no, I'm fully done now. I don't need it. I've never had a mother in my life, so I'm kind of used to her not being in my life anyway. So when that happened, I'm like, okay, it's just secondary nature to me. And, you know, years ago I would have gone, well, yeah, and run back, but I don't do that anymore. Like I said, I had an ex that was like that, and it's like, I am done with people. I'm done with people emotionally manipulating me. I'm done with people being toxic to me. I'm done with emotional, mentally manipulation, abuse, you name it. Be it from my mother, be it from everybody else, because, you know, I'm not a doormat, and I am not going to lay down and take it. So, you know, and that's for anybody, and including my mother. But, you know, I think I've waffled enough, and I'm going to leave this here. But I just want to know if there's anybody out there in a similar situation like mine, be it any parent or parents or whatever, let me know and comment below. And yeah, tell me your thoughts, your experience, if we've had this similar experience or not. If you don't want to comment, that's fair enough. If this has resonated with you, let me know. If it's not, cool. I probably have family members come for me, but I don't give an F. But anyway, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below, and I will see you for the next one.